Hey guys, in this episode, we're going to talk about how the 2023 Toyota Sequoia compares to all the past SUVs that I've owned. So over the years, we've owned a lot of SUVs. My wife still has the 2019 GMC Yukon. My daughter is driving my 2011 Lexus GX460. I had the first generation of 2003 Toyota Sequoia that my father's still driving with 240,000 miles. Thing's still a tank. I've had Jeep Wranglers. I've had classic Jeep Grand Wagoneers. I still do. Those are, I love those. Let's see, Toyota 4Runners. We've had a 4Runner. We've had several Grand Cherokees, a couple Yukons. So, you know, a wide array of SUVs over the year. And the question is, how did those compare to one of these? How does the Sequoia compare? So first, let's talk about probably the best comparison, which is my wife's 2019 Yukon. That's the last model. It's not, there's a newer version that came out, was it 2021 and forward. There's a new design. But in terms of vehicle functionality and what have you, they're very comparable. So in terms of cargo space and interior space, I would argue the Sequoia feels much larger inside. It's a wider vehicle in the sense that when I put my arm out, if I reach over to the passenger seat, I hit my wrist. So if I'm, here I am, here I am in driving position. If I reach out, I'm hitting my wrist when I touch her seat. Where if I'm in the Yukon, we can bump elbows on the center console, or we're just a lot closer. That center console is just narrower. My wife and my daughters, who have more experience driving her car, do feel like this drives like a bigger vehicle, but I think it's because the look of the hood is up higher, and just it's just different than what she's used to. One of the biggest differences, the Yukon has the V8 engine still. In terms of driving experience, I love driving both of them. We do a ton of road trips. I mean, we probably, this is 2 years old and I've got 26,000 miles on it. So we're up and down the highway. We live in North Carolina, so we're up and down the highway all year round. Whether it's 3 hours or less to the mountains, it's 3 hours or less to the beach. So we're road trip people. We're always on the go, and we take both vehicles. The biggest difference between a Yukon and this, compared to hers, the 2019, this has better technology. Hers has had some electrical oddities, but they've all kind of been worked out. But the Yukon has one major benefit over the Sequoia, and that's the cargo area. So comfort and quality on a road trip, I'd say it's relatively even. But when it comes time to talk about cargo area, the Yukon wins hands down. So this is the limited. So this is the second tier. I've got the rear bench seat, and my wife has the pass-through, the two captain's chairs. So I've got two teenage daughters. I've got two dogs. One is a 65, 70-pound, 2-year-old golden retriever. And the other is a 9 or 10-year-old mini golden doodle, a little 22-pound, lap dog. So she's easy. She can go in either car fine. This car, if he's in here, he's too heavy on the perforated seats. I'm afraid his claws and paws are going to push through the perforations. So I don't want them on the leather. So I fold the seats down. The problem is, you've got the cargo area, you've got where the hybrid battery in the third row seat is up high, and then you have the footwell, and then you have the raised second row seat. So there's nothing level. When I put those seats down for my retriever to be in the back, he's just all over the place. I mean, he's constantly shifting, he's falling down, he's falling between the seats, and I'm afraid I'm going to get hit with a $5,000 vet bill if I bring him in this car, because what if his leg got stuck between the seats, or he fell and got hurt? If we are going to take the dogs with us anywhere, we take the Yukon. So that's probably the biggest difference between the two. This is probably more fun to drive. You know, the twin turbo hybrid, I didn't love it at first. I'm still partial to a V8, but in terms of driving experience, when you hit the accelerator, like, you know, I've got the little shift knob here, I can put this thing into sports mode, but the horsepower and the torque, this thing, I mean, it'll just plant your head back into the seat. So that's pretty fun. And if you need to merge into traffic, if you live in Atlanta, if you don't live in Atlanta or Charlotte, you know what I'm talking about. You can't drive a slow car. So I drive these old Jeeps, and you know, my little 93 Wrangler, I mean, you gotta give it everything you got, and you're still going slow. Well, with this, you don't have that problem. Here, when it's time to go, you just go. I mean, it spools up and gets running in a hurry. So that's a really good thing. Let's see, what were the other ones? Looking at my notes here. So the Lexus. Guys, that 2011 Lexus GX430, I'm probably going to have to say it's my favorite vehicle that I've ever owned. Not fun vehicles. So I've had fun vehicles that were purposeful, you know, good for off-road, good for speed and fun. But from a true everyday driver, that Lexus Lexus GX460. I love new cars. I love cars. I'm a car guy. I enjoy getting new cars. I bought that in 2012. Bought it used with 20,000 miles on it. Bought it out of DC. And about every other year, I'd go into the car dealers and I'd kind of get that itch that I just want a new car. Like, I'm in a position, I'm fortunate enough that I can afford new cars, and with my business and stuff. So I just have always enjoyed new cars. Well, I drove that Lexus for 12 years. I didn't even want to give it to my daughter. I would go into a dealership and I'd get back in the Lexus and say, why would I spend money when I've got this? So that vehicle set the bar very high for all other vehicles. When I got this, the reason I got the Sequoia was my daughter was turning 16, and I couldn't, emotionally, the thought of buying her a newer car than I had hurt my feelings. Just call it like it is. And secondly is I wanted her to be in a safe, reliable car that I knew was bulletproof and that was well taken care of. And I know that car inside and out. So I feel really good. She's done amazing the last 2 or 3 years driving that car. It's been great. But it took me a little while to warm up to this Sequoia. Now I would buy another one. You know, maybe I'm kind of jumping to the end, but I really enjoy this Sequoia. It's been a good vehicle. I'm warming up to the hybrid V6, but this has been a good vehicle. How does it compare to the original, the first generation 2023 Sequoia? So I mentioned earlier, I think, my father is still driving. So my father-in-law bought it new in 2003. I bought it from him in 2007. And in 2012, when I got a BMW for 6 months, hated it, and traded that in quickly on the Lexus GX. So Dad's been driving that since 2012. He's up to 260,000 miles on it, and the thing still runs great. The transmission is ever so slightly starting to slip a little bit now, at say 250,000 miles, but it's 250,000 miles on a 2003. That's a 22-year-old car that is still, you just get it repaired, you do your maintenance, and you go on about your business. So I would say that 2003, it doesn't compare at all to what you get today. But I would say that first generation was hands down probably the best full-size SUV ever built. Bulletproof reliability. It was before all the computer BS on these things. If something broke, you could fix it for the most part, $100 set of tools from Walmart, and you could swap that motor out. I mean, it's easy to work on, super reliable. It's a 1,000,000-mile motor. And at the same time, Toyota understands the American consumer. They still do. Cup holders. Germans always used to say, what do you need a cup holder for? Americans, we like our cup holders, especially, does your wife have a Stanley, or, do you have a big Yeti for your coffee? I know I'll walk out the door every morning on the way to work carrying my big Yeti, and 20-ounce Yeti of coffee sitting in the center console. Well, you got 2 cup holders here, 2 cup holders there, 2 in the passenger door, 2 in the driver door, 2 in each of the, at least 1, maybe 2 in each of the back doors, 2 on either side of the third row seat, and 2 in the center console of the back. So if you run out of cup holders, that's your problem, not the cars. And it was the same way in that first generation as it is today. The biggest difference is you just got so much tech on here. I mean, this is a rolling computer, where that was very much an analog, type. You had computers, but it wasn't this stuff. I actually prefer the older stuff as a personal preference. Like that's what I enjoy driving. But from a daily driver, and the fact that I bought a bumper to bumper warranty on this thing, this wins. That's kind of a no-brainer, because you're getting the best of both. So I kind of jumped on this already, and that was, the final kind of thoughts were, which one would I pick? Well, it depends on your needs. That Lexus GX is probably going to go down as one of the greatest SUVs ever made. Ultra reliable, a size that is good for just about anybody, whether you have a big family, no family. It's the size of of the 4Runner, more or less, and it's just a great universal size. If you need a full size, this is a big vehicle. I like a big vehicle. I want to throw all my friends, all my family, and all of our stuff in the vehicle and go. I don't want to have to choose what I take. I just enjoy having the big vehicle where I don't have to think. When it's time to tailgate, we throw everything in. But more fits into her Yukon than fits into this. More fits into my 1991 Jeep Grand Wagoneer than fits into this. I can squeeze more with the third row seat folded down flat into the Lexus, because it's perfectly smooth across the cargo area and you have the full height. This, you have limited height because of that hybrid battery and the third row seats being up. So I'd really like it if Toyota, if they would give us the option of a non-hybrid. If they did, nobody'd buy the hybrid. If they would fix that, take that battery out, would be my guess. And then secondly is, if you make us have the hybrid, at least let us take the third row seats out or something, so that we can gain that extra cargo room. Because we were moving offices and I had to put a chair in here. It took us 20 minutes of trying to figure out how to be able to fit it into the back of the cargo area. If we threw the other chair, it was a matching set. We just picked it up, laid it in the back of the Yukon, and she drove off with it. So that part, that's a real benefit if you were looking at, if you needed the bigger vehicle. But I would say if I were buying one today, for the price, I'd go buy that Lexus at $40,000, you're getting one heck of a vehicle with 20,000-30,000 miles at that price point, maybe less, versus you're stepping up 75,000-80,000 for this. I'd probably take the Lexus on the price. Now, if price is no obstacle, and you like the big vehicles, and you're comparing this to a Yukon, and you don't have the issue with the dogs and stuff, then yeah, I'd buy this. I would, if I were going to buy another one of these today, I'd go buy the 2025. I'd get the massaging seats. I'd get the Platinum Edition, and I would want it so that it had the articulating steps, so that they would fold out when the door opens and fold back under the car when you close the door. I think that for my, with my parents and my in-laws, and the kids, even for me, everybody getting in and out, I really like that feature. I wish I had that. So that's it for comparing this vehicle to my prior vehicles. Let me know in the comments, do you have a Sequoia? Do you have one of the other vehicles? Would you buy one? If not, why? Let me know. I read all the comments, and so I appreciate the feedback. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.